Hey, what's going on, guys? Good afternoon. Stocks by the numbers. Wanted to dive into something. Happy Friday, real quick. Hope everyone's having a good week. But let's get into it. Name of the company I wanted to look at here: Nikola Corporation. Ticker symbol NKLA, listed here on the Nasdaq. Stock right now $1.41, relatively flat on the day, down a cent. Let's see what's going on. So first of all, this is what we call a stimulus stock. Okay, this is when every young person basically got some free money from the government. They, thought it was in their best interest to invest, which was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, all of the money went into companies like Nikola, QuantumScape, Fuel Cell, right? Blink Charging. These companies were a few dollars or non-existent, really, and then absolutely exploded on the amount of money, the amount of volume coming into these stocks. And that's exactly what happened here. As you see here, post-pandemic, stock absolutely exploded, going from barely double digits to north of $90 a share. And since then, again, we're down here at $1.41. So if you do own this stock at 20, 42, $67 a share, it's not my responsibility, but I will say to you, I'm sorry that you're dealing with this nonsense, and this is why I made the channel. It wasn't to get, 10 million subs and, act like I'm some sort of stock genius. It wasn't about trying to make $5 million a year off YouTube ads or whatever it can have, even though, I mean, let's call it like it is. That'd be pretty sweet. But at the end of the day, my main goal, even when I used to speak to people about investments years ago, my main goal here for making this channel is to bring the realism back to stock analysis and back to the stock market overall. Because it's interesting, because a lot of people may not appreciate my slant, my viewpoints. A lot of people will try to argue with me sometimes, depending on the situation, because I may look at fundamentals over technicals. And of course, again, people, well, stocks trade electronically. It's all about patterns. Well, no, it's not all about patterns. The money, the business, the fundamentals behind the actual stock are still the most important thing, regardless of any short-term BS pattern. And again, even though people may look at tech analysis more than fundamental analysis, I'm sure we've all been down that road where we saw a head and shoulders and then it didn't move the way we anticipated. Again, this is a long-term chart of Nikola. Technically, looking at our tech analysis here, this is basically forming a very long-term descending wedge. Descending wedges are bullish, right? But that doesn't mean that it's the magic G word. For you guys who don't know, the G word is guaranteed, right? Because nothing is guaranteed, especially in the stock market. But just because this hits the apex and it formed this pattern doesn't mean this is going to break out, right? I mean, this company could beat earnings here in November at $1.30. You may think they can go higher, and then who knows? They can get audited. Someone broke a rule, right? The CFO was embezzling money, or all of a sudden, the CEO is a schmuck, and they're trying to get him off the board or something. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything. But I don't even remember how I got on this topic, but right, the realism. I wanted to bring the realism back because, again, of course, I have a little bit of sour grapes because I'm not doing as well as I was several years ago, but chances are nobody is. And the reason being is because, not to get political, under President Trump, the market was much more real. It was just real. I used to go PE value hunting. And I would just find random stocks. It's like when everything was rocking and rolling and the Dow was hitting new highs or whatever, I would look for the companies that weren't really moving much, or the companies that just are coming off of a sell-off. And now all of a sudden the PE is like 9 or like 11.4, right? And the rest of the sectors like rallying to new highs and everything's great and they all have like 18 to 20 PEs. I would just scoop in. I would buy like naked calls on low PE stocks. And let me tell you something. I was making money hand over fist. I made more than 10 times my money in less than 6 months doing some trading under President Trump. And I was doing naked calls and puts, which a lot of you people know is hands down the most speculative way to do it. And every Friday throughout those 6 months, I was taking losses on positions that didn't work out. And I still made 10 times my money. And under Biden, boom, just started losing money. So, again, I know everyone is different. Some people may prosper and be successful in different environments compared to other people. But again, I made the channel to bring the realism back to the stock market. And if you own this at $20, $40 a share, I bet you wish that I made this video and you knew me before you bought the stock, because I would have told you you have a better shot at seeing Jesus than if you think this stock is a buy at $20 or $38 a share. My apologies for that last line. I know it's a little extreme, but it's just an expression. But anyway, long story short, again, we have this trend line. We could see a short-term bounce here off $1.40, maybe up to like $1.50, $1.60. However, it may only last a couple of days, and it's probably going to pull back. You could have a run-up here going into earnings here into May, but it really all depends on the numbers that they post. Again, just inconsistent with these revenue numbers here, coming in with healthy beats 3 quarters in a row. Then analysts keep raising estimates up to 32 million. All of a sudden, the company comes in with 6.5 million. So this right here, this 12.8 million, this is going to tell us, the big picture of what's going on. If the company rebounds here and comes in with like 14 million, then you can say, all right, so they had one bad quarter. But if they come in here and they post like 4.2 million, and it's a massive miss, and more importantly, it's less than what they made this quarter before, then trust me when I tell you, they're going to crater this son of a bitch down to like 50 cents. Because technically on paper, that's really where it should be trading. However, it does look like it's maintaining this trend line here, and doesn't look like it may go much lower. If we look at some of the financials, first of all, you can see somehow they're beating on the EPS side yearly, but even in 2026, still going to be losing 6 cents a share with estimates of $2.25 billion in revenue. Still going to be losing 6 cents a share. That is never a good sign, in my opinion. The silver lining here is that the company is maintaining assets of about $1 billion plus. However, liabilities have jumped about 150% year over year, now sitting at almost $750 million just in liabilities. Company is holding debt. Book value here at $1.03 a share. So that's probably your best silver lining here. You can potentially say, hopefully, that if you bought this at $10, $12, now it's at $1.40. I mean, if you dealt with all this negativity and you're contemplating selling for a loss, you may as well just hold on, because if the lowest it can go is $1, and then it may rally from there, a year or two from now, then you're probably better off just holding that. But yeah, here is our apex. Earnings in May, which means next earnings in August, which means next earnings in November, which is right here, right around November, December, the apex of the end of the year. And that's why I keep mentioning the earnings, because if this company could really turn it around in these quarters, not only will it become bullish based on the fundamentals, but of course we are in a descending wedge, which is a bullish pattern, and it will break out. And the reason why fundamentals are important, right, is because in the short term, yeah, it could break out of the descending wedge. You could time it properly. You could make some good short-term money. Congratulations. But if you do the long-term fundamental analysis like I did, you will know that when it breaks out here and jumps up to 390 and you're making money hand over fist, I don't think I would know not to sell a single share of this stock because it's going to 12. That's the difference between myself and a short-term technical trader. Now again, there is nothing wrong with doing tech analysis and doing day trades, week trades, month trades. But again, if we're talking about the investment, the numbers absolutely are more important than the charts. And over here, weekly, we have an RSI 29.8, as you see, really hasn't been sub 30. So that may be your low and your indicator. So that's why with the lower RSI, plus with the stock tapping the bottom trend line here, we may have a pop back up to $1.50, $1.60 short term, but it wouldn't really determine long term. We have very high moving averages, probably not going to get back there anytime soon. Also looks like the MACD may potentially cross downward and just accelerate that sell-off. RSI on the daily, 27.18, means nothing because it has been sub 30 for several times. And also we have a MACD sliding. Even this mid-Bollinger Band here, $1.82. I mean, that's a massive jump. That's what, like 25-30% from where it is now. I don't know if they're going to bring it up that much. But again, you may see a little bit of a pop here in the short term based off low RSIs and trend lines. But at the end of the day, it's all about numbers. And everyone pumped this stock up to over $90 when the son of a bitch is worth probably like 80 cents a share. But that's just my opinion, and I'll leave it there. Once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave it down in the comments section. I'm usually pretty quick to reply. Just like everyone on YouTube says, thumbs up. Helps out the algorithm. Really means a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Self-explanatory. Moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky, and they're volatile, and they're uncertain. So I want to wish everyone success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. I want to thank you for stopping by. Have a good day, guys.